Things Bloom, our podcast where we discuss ways to disrupt trafficking here in the Lehigh Valley. I'm Carol and Anderson, and this is a special series in recognition of Human Trafficking Prevention Month that we've entitled Not on Our Watch. Each month, we're going to be addressing a common myth, naming a real warning sign, and discussing practical ways you can prevent exploitation in your community. Today's myth is one many of us grew up with. Trafficking is kidnapping by a stranger. We imagine dark bans, sudden grabs, dramatic escapes, but for most survivors, trafficking doesn't begin with force. It begins with connection. I'm joined by Alyssa Almonte, Bloom's residence manager and the leader of our outreach work. Welcome, Alyssa. This myth is powerful and misleading.
It is. Most of the individuals we serve were never abducted, right? They were groomed.
When people hear human trafficking, they often picture a stranger in a parking lot. But what does it actually look like in real life?
Well, it usually looks like a relationship. Someone who pays attention, someone who listens, someone who says, you're different, you're special, and I understand you. It might be a romantic partner. It can start online. It might be someone a young person or a person already knows. The connection feels affirming, especially to someone who feels overlooked or lonely.
So the doorway isn't fear, it's belonging.
Exactly. The trafficker becomes the safe place. Over time, that person begins to isolate them from others. They might say your family doesn't get you, your friends are holding you back. Slowly, the world starts to shrink before you, and then by the time exploitation begins, trust is already there. The person doesn't feel kidnapped, they feel loyal.
Wow, that really reframes everything. It's not a crime scene, it's a relationship that turns dangerous.
Right, yes, and because it looks ordinary, people around them don't see it.
Good point. So let's talk about the warning signs that connects to this myth. Grooming, what does that actually look like?
Well, grooming is a pattern. It often includes excess attention or flattery, gifts, money, promises, a relationship that moves very fast or that you're not entirely aware of yourself, right? Pressure to keep secrets, gradual isolation from friends and families, and a sense that no one understands me like this person does. It's really believing a fairy tale when it comes down to it that someone's been given to you, and it can happen in person or online, and it often feels too good at first, right?
I guess that's what makes it so hard to recognize.
Exactly. Grooming doesn't feel dangerous, and in the beginning, it feels like being chosen. It feels beautiful, right? But over time, the balance of power does shift. The relationship becomes controlling. The affection becomes conditional, and then we often hear survivors say, "I thought they loved me."
And that truth matters. It reminds us that no one falls for trafficking, and they are drawn in through human needs.
Absolutely, yes. The warning sign isn't romance. It's when connection starts being cut off from someone and their freedom.
Wow. So what does prevention look like here?
So prevention, when we teach discernment and boundaries, especially in digital spaces, prevention really does look like helping people understand that healthy relationships don't rush intimacy. Love doesn't isolate you from others. You don't owe anyone access to your body, your time, or your secrets. And for us, it looks like staying curious instead of dismissive. When a survivor says you wouldn't understand, we can respond with, well, help me try.
Good point. So rather than warning, don't talk to strangers, we're teaching, pay attention to how people treat you.
Absolutely. And trafficking prevention in the digital age isn't about fear. It's about wisdom. It's about helping people recognize when a relationship is narrowing in the world instead of expanding.
And it comes back to connection again.
Always. And when someone knows they can talk without being judged, secrecy loses its power.
Good points. Today's myth, it's always kidnapping, keeps us from seeing the real beginnings of exploitation. Most trafficking starts with attention, affection, and trust. But the truth is this: healthy relationships never require isolation, secrecy, or surrendering your voice. If this episode helped you see something new, here's how you can learn more and respond. Visit our website and learn about trafficking prevention and survivor support. Share this episode with parents, educators, or young people in your life, and invite Bloom to speak at your school, community, workplace, or group. When we teach discernment, when we nurture connection and stay present in one another's lives, we close the door trafficking depends upon. This is not on our watch.